Welcome to another vlog. My name is Skylar Dream and I am a self-taught digital artist, crocheter, and small business owner. And joining me is the wonderful little Kageyuki, who is pretty much filling in for me on the screen because this is a faceless vlog and they'll provide the little visual interest. It is Monday and it is the beginning of another week, and I pretty much spent my Monday evening working on getting the week 2 vlog edited, and I'm starting to realize I need to come up with a better vlog editing schedule that doesn't swallow up most of my Monday, because it does bother me that I'm not using Monday as a drawing day. So I'm trying to be good with myself and actually trying to set a boundary with myself that Sunday is a dedicated rest day. So I'm considering Sunday as a non-workable day if I want to maintain that little rest day boundary with myself. So I'm thinking Saturday would be the next best thing. The other thing I could begin doing is just editing the vlog throughout the week to minimize the amount of bulk work I need to do at once. But for the most part, I'm still figuring out a lot of the video editing, and I'm also realizing that I may be leaning more towards getting a refund on the video editor that I bought. Mainly because I just don't like the way it works with speeding up video clips, and I can't find a way to disable that little loop it tends to do whenever I speed up a video. It's just a lot of learning, and I'm just realizing this software maybe is not for me. But I digress. There's a lot of things that I'm learning on the video editing front, especially since this is a new software for me. But I am strongly considering exploring other options and, again, getting a refund on this one. But yeah. And the other thing, I do have my my top 3 to-dos for February already listed out. And for February, the main goals are going to be to update my shop in terms of its visual design, so mainly the GUI. So I'm going to be changing up the layout and making it more simplistic than it is now, because sometimes I look at it and I find that I think design-wise it's a little overwhelming. So I want to simplify it a little bit more, stick to my brand colors, and just make it a little bit more of a simpler layout. The other one is going to be coloring in the lad's pole dancing AU and getting the 2-headed amigurumi done. So these are going to be the top 3 things to get off my list. But if they do get done ahead of time, I will be adding more to do before the month ends. For me, I think the coloring in the lad's drawings is actually going to be a pretty easy one to knock out. I could probably maybe knock it out in 1 to 2 weeks if I'm good. So I'm hoping with getting lads off of the list as soon as possible, I can put in working on the 4th wing sticker designs once that's out of the way. So yeah, those are going to be the top 3 to-dos for February. In terms of the week, I think it's going to be pretty much balancing the 3 of them. But I think if I prioritize getting the lads drawings colored in, then I can easily get that off the list and just make room for other things. So still learning how to prioritize myself and really use my time efficiently. So yeah, minimizing my monthly to-dos to the top 3 things that I want to get done really does help with kind of managing myself a little bit better. And if I'm able to knock one off the list, I can add another in its place, or make sure that I'm knocking out the other 2 first before I add anything else. So yeah, that's going to be the plan for February. And it's getting late, so not really much to vlog for Monday aside from got my plans for February out of the way, and I also have been working on video editing. So that's pretty much been my Monday, and I'll just see you all tomorrow. It is Wednesday. There was a mosquito on my ceiling, and now it is dead. And it was kind of huge, too. And yeah, glad I didn't go to sleep with that thing flying around. Anyway, I didn't get to film yesterday, mainly because I had a few personal things to take care of that didn't really leave me a lot of time to film, and by the end of it, I just felt drained and exhausted, so I didn't stream yesterday either, and I've been a little bit frazzled since yesterday, so I'm just gonna take a step back. I don't think I'm gonna stream this week, I'll just stream next week. And yesterday I just really needed to keep my mind busy, and I just was not in the mood to stream or film, but I did get started on a little rubber duck amigurumi pattern. I just wanted to experiment because, like I said yesterday, I just really needed to keep my brain busy, and I didn't feel like working on my bear, and I didn't feel like pulling up any existing crochet patterns or like pulling out yarn to work on other projects. So I had this yellow yarn lying around, so I figured why not try my hand at making a rubber duck pattern, and this is where we're at so far. So this is going to be the tail, and this is the body, and eventually the head is going to go somewhere up here. I did watch a couple of videos today, and I realized that a lot of people, where they tend to start is the head and then they begin to crochet the body. I saw somebody doing this chain method where they pretty much sectioned off the tail and the body. So I was giving that a try. I might give the head first a try next. But essentially, this is where yesterday's little activity took me. I just needed something to keep my brain busy, and apparently for me it's experimenting with crochet patterns. And I did write this down, and I just needed something to keep myself busy, so rubber duck. I'm gonna try and finish it and see where this goes, just to see how well this pattern works. If I make another duck, I'm gonna try doing the head first. I know there are free patterns out there, but I don't know, I just felt in the mood to try and make my own. Like I said, I just needed to keep my mind busy, and apparently the best way to keep my mind busy is recreate the wheel. So, yeah, this is what I have for the ducks so far. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to be streaming this week, but I do want to get a few drawings done, and I do want to focus in on the drawings. So I'm probably going to work a little bit on the chibis tonight and maybe get started on coloring in one of the lads illustrations, so that I want to make the goal for this week getting at the very least Silas colored in. And yeah, I think I can get that. I can definitely get that done within a night. But I also have Xavier and Caleb to finish sketching out, so I'm probably going to try putting priority on those, because I didn't work on them yesterday, because usually I work on the chibis on stream. So I'm going to give them a little bit of time tonight. And I also do need to wrap up the vlog editing, and yeah, it's going to go up much later than I would like, and I think I just really need to figure out a system that works best for editing vlogs, and that might just be getting all the footage from the day uploaded into my computer at the end of every night and into a save file. But yeah, so far, I think I'm just getting overwhelmed, because in the back of my head there's a lot of things that I need to get done for my shop, and I kind of get a little bit stressed out at work because I'm thinking about the things that I'd rather be doing for my shop than my actual work. But yeah, like that's kind of ruminating in the back of my head, and sometimes it gets a little frustrating, and I don't know, this week has just been overwhelming for me so far, so it's just need to slow my brain down a little bit more. And yeah. On another note, I did get some doodling breaks and doodling openings during my workday today, and I think I have the design for the one Garrick sticker that I want to make. It's going to be the Cake is a Lie sticker, in honor of that one scene from Onyx Storm. This fandom can know no peace. Anyway, but I think I have an idea that I think I have the composition I want to do for that sticker. And so it's just going to be a matter of actually drawing it, because it's a few simple shapes and I know I can get that done relatively fast. I also did think up of 2 more kind of like emo goth sticker designs. So yeah, I have so many sticker designs I really want to get done. I just need to make sure I set some time aside, and I might make Saturday that time to actually get started on those sticker designs, because one of them is going to be a little bit more complex, because a lot of the sticker ideas I have for Fourth Wing are Endarna related, so I'm going to have to draw dragons, and I'm going to have to figure out how I want to draw Endarna too. So the other one that I think is going to be easy to get done is going to be Riddick's I Hate Sewing. So I have a little rough sketch in my sketchbook on what I want to do for that one. And so far, I think if I could get Garrick's and Riddick's stickers done by the end of the week, I think I can be happy. But that's probably not on the priority list either. So I do have a top 3 list that needs to get done before the month ends, but as you can see, I scatter myself. Anyway, top 3 for this month, I think I mentioned it yesterday, but it's just going to be the lads pole dancing, getting all of them colored in, as well as wrapping up the pattern for the 2-headed amigurumi, and revamping my shop so that it's a little bit more simpler in layout. And the other thing that I really need to work on is just advertising my shop, because I do a poor job at marketing. And which reminds me, I also need to get the Whip Wednesday post posted, because I forgot to do that during the day today. So yeah, a lot of things to do, and I can see why I'm getting overwhelmed this week, because I'm just really stacking the to-do list up high, and there's only one me. I only get so much time during the day. And yeah, learning the balance between working in 9 to 5 and setting a good, healthy balance with having a part-time side business, it's a learning curve. It's a bit of a learning process, and it's going to be a tough time trying to not overload myself, because I'm the kind of person that likes to stay busy. So that's going to be a challenge for me personally. I just look at my long to-do list and I just end up overwhelming myself in the process. So I think I just really need to narrow down on the top 3 so that I really chunk everything down into bite-sized doable pieces. And that's the part that theoretically I know I need to do, but in practice I struggle actually doing. So yeah, I guess I just need to get in my head that the pole dancing AU is going to be priority, and the sooner I can get that done, the sooner I can move things into the to-do list that aren't just the lads boys. The other one, I think what I'm going to do is get the top 3 done ASAP, or as fast as I humanly can. That way we can bring in time for the stickers. Which, can you tell that I struggle with sticking to one thing at a time? Because my brain's like, no, we want to do all the things. But yeah, that is something I'm going to have to learn how to work with. And right now I'm using the top 3 because I'm using somebody else's template and trying to see how well it works for me. And I'm going to eventually have to make adjustments to it so that it fits my style of work better. And again, part of the goal is to make sure that I'm settling on a workflow that is balanced, that allows me to get things done without potentially burning myself out. So ultimately that is the goal. But yeah, just a lot of things to do, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on those things to do. So I'll see you guys later. I did not work on the pole dancing AU or the chibis like I wanted to yesterday. Yesterday ultimately turned into a video editing night. So I underestimated the amount of time it would take me to get everything that I wanted to get done. So instead of just spending 1 hour on trying to finish up the vlog, I ended up taking 2 hours. And yeah, did not get to the illustration work that I wanted to do. And honestly, I'm still kind of managing through that guilt of not getting what I wanted to get done yesterday, and managing those feelings that I'm falling behind. On the bright side, however, I did look into DaVinci Resolve, and I downloaded it, gave it a quick test run yesterday, and sped up one of the clips because I'm thinking of doing speed paints again, and I already have the lads pole dancing AUs all recorded. All they need to do is be sped up. And so, good news, with DaVinci Resolve, I'm not fighting buggy software, so all I had to do was just speed up the clip, and that was it. Which was nice, because the program that I'm using now, I can't tell if every single time I try to speed up a video, it just falls into a loop. And I don't know how to exit that loop, because then I'll have one sped up clip that keeps playing the same clip like at least 3-4 times, and I can't figure out how to get rid of that loop unless I decide to cut the video when that loop starts, and it's guesstimating when that loop starts. So yeah. Ended up downloading DaVinci Resolve, and that did wonders. So that kind of solidifies my decision to get a refund for the software that I bought. So I might get money back if that refund goes through. Today, to be completely honest, I was not in the best mental space because again, like I said, I didn't get to work on the illustrations like I wanted to. And I ended up overwhelming myself at work, mainly because I was thinking of all the illustrations I still need to do, the designs I need to make, the amigurumi. And on top of that, I eventually do want to find a new job. And I realized that I've fallen off the horse completely. I can't find a new job if I don't apply for jobs. And I work in tech, specifically software. And eventually I started looking into the coding interview tips and tricks, and I ended up overwhelming myself there because I've only ever done one coding interview and I didn't get that job. And like the coding interview is the most intimidating part for me. And so, yeah, I ended up overwhelming myself with the mountain of work that I, for some reason, keep stacking onto my plate. And I will be honest, I kind of fell into a comparison trap because I do watch a lot of small business vlogs, and sometimes like I fall into this headspace that I want to be where they're at. I want to ultimately make my art a full-time job. And so I want to go full-time with my art. That is ultimately my goal. And there are times that I kind of fall into this mental trap where I look at all these small businesses and like I want to be there, and I want like, and I know I'm going to have to put in work to get there. But the thing is, like, I also need to be realistic with myself about my time, because a lot of it is dealing with the guilt that comes with not getting all the things that I want to get done. And the thing that I need to remind myself is that there's only so much I can realistically do within a 2-hour slot of time at the end of every evening. And all of these businesses, a lot of these business owners, they've set themselves up and they've actually done the work to get themselves to a position that they can focus on their businesses full time. And for me, sometimes that comparison trap comes in where I want to be there, I want to be like them, I want my art to be my full-time job and just dedicate myself to my art, but I'm not there yet. And what ends up happening is that I start getting angsty, or like I start getting anxious at work because it's just like I end up, because I do need to work my 9 to 5, and then I end up getting like, I pressure myself because I want to do all these things in a 2-hour amount of time because all these businesses are able to do so much work in so much time. But the thing that I need to remind myself is that a lot of these people who run these businesses, that is their full time. Their entire day is dedicated to doing work in relation to their businesses. And I'm trying to juggle a part-time small business with a full-time job, and that's not easy. I don't have the same amount of time they do, so the thing that I need to learn and come to terms with is that I won't get as much done as I want to, and that the growth for my business is going to happen at a slower rate because I don't have the same time in my day as these people who do have their businesses full time. And part of it is dealing with the guilt that I'm not doing everything that I want to get done within the day, and learning to be okay with that, and that my business will take time to grow, especially since I'm coming from a very small following. And yeah, I'm trying to navigate those feelings and just ended up overwhelming myself to the point that pretty much I just put a lot of pressure on myself. And I know I keep saying that one of the things I want to do is avoid burnout, and the things that I'm doing now are pretty much going to just head dive me into that burnout that I'm trying so hard to avoid, or I keep saying I want to avoid. So yeah, part of learning how to manage a small business when you have a full-time job is learning how to manage the emotional part, where the guilt of not being able to do enough comes from that feeling that I'm not doing enough to get my business to where I need it to be so that I can focus on it full time. Like, there's that feeling of guilt because, like I said, the past 2 days I've been wanting to draw, but the past 2 days real life has happened, as well as me overestimating how much I can get done in such short windows of time. And I just think part of this learning process is learning how to be more realistic with myself and the time that I have, and not build up so many expectations of all the things I'm going to get done within 2 hours, and not be too hard on myself when I can't accomplish the same things as somebody who does their business full time. So yeah, part of the learning curve is going to be learning how to manage those emotions, and again, learning how to have grace with myself when things aren't growing as fast as I want them to, and being realistic with myself that my business will grow at a much slower rate because I still have my full-time job, and I don't have, I don't put a full-time equivalent to my small business. So yeah, things that I'm going to have to learn over time, and just, again, learn how to have mercy with myself and be realistic with what I can do in the time that I do have, and make sure that I'm not building too high of an expectation and putting so much pressure on myself that ultimately I overwhelm myself. And when I overwhelm myself, that is not going to be constructive to doing good things for my small business. So a lot of lessons to learn, and a lot of emotions that I'm going to have to learn how to work with, and learning how to set better expectations for myself, and expectations that won't just come, that will crush me in the process. So yeah, more things to learn. Genuinely and honestly, have not been in a good mental space the past couple of days because I'm putting so much pressure on myself to do all these things when, realistically speaking, it's okay that I can't do all these things because I have a much more limited window of time to actually do all these different things, if that makes sense. The rest of the night today, I'm just waiting for the vlog to finish rendering, and tonight will actually be a drawing day. So that is one thing for certain. For warm-up, I think I'm just going to try to get Silas at the very least colored, and then hop onto one of the chibis. At least that's going to be the small goal for tonight, and I'll see you guys at the end. Video just finished rendering, and I'm getting ready to go to bed. Good news, at the very least, I got Silas colored in tonight, and that knocks out one of the 5 lads pole dancing AU, and will get me one step closer to getting that one item off of my top 3 for the month. So yeah, I'm pretty sure if I can handle one boy per night, I can knock them out within the week. So I think that is pretty realistic and doable. If maybe even Saturday, I can maybe knock out 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, good news, Silas got colored in. Unfortunately, was not able to get to working on Xavier because I had a couple of responsibilities I had to take care of first, and so unfortunately did not manage to get to the chibi. And one of the things I think I didn't manage to verbalize properly earlier was pretty much I need to learn how to deal with the sentiment that I'm not doing enough, or I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough. So because I realized that that is the main driving factor for why I got so overwhelmed and over these past couple of days, is because I constantly feel like I'm not doing enough. And again, my time is limited because this business is a part-time business, so I don't have as much time throughout the day to dedicate to it. So yeah, I think I need to learn how to manage with I'm not doing enough, and just trying to come up with a system that will allow me room to breathe and actually get things done without putting too much stress on myself. Because like I said earlier, if I'm putting so much pressure and stress, I'm going to end up producing work that's not of the best quality, and I'm just going to end up making myself more stressed. So rather than putting more pressure on myself, I need to come up with a system that will give me the grace to breathe and keep me from stacking so much pressure on myself.
knows that I fall and sell my soul. My heart is just broken, can't hold words unspoken, but I will be okay. Yeah, I'm just falling to my darkness. Whoa, I could fight my sharpness. Whoa, I could find my love, love. Spending days only in trouble. Please forget the trouble. My heart says okay, but I feel the rumble. I can't blame myself for not being perfect.
Messing up. Okay. So, okay. It is Friday, and tonight is going to be a crochet day, and we are continuing to work on the two-headed amigurumi. And I figured this would be a good place to kind of just do a crochet and chat session, seeing as my battery is halfway through. But yeah, we're working on the two-headed amigurumi, and just to show you where that is at. The inside, as you guys can see while I'm working, looks like a hot mess, but this is what the outside is looking like so far. So I will make it a little bit longer, and this will need to get priced at a higher price point, primarily because I am using velvet yarn. It does require a little bit more work to get to the length that I want it, especially since I want this to be a bit of a larger piece. But yeah, this is how the color division is looking so far. Kind of concerned with the tension I've been putting on the color splits. They seem to be okay, but when I stuff it, we'll see how it stretches. But so far, this is where we're at. I'm still working on the body, and I'm still trying to get it to the full height of the body that I want. And when I start doing decreases, that's roughly when I'm going to start stuffing it. And what I might do is stuff the heads first and then get an idea of where to put the eyes, because if I was doing this a little bit more smartly, I probably would have stuffed the heads and tested out the eyes before even doing the rest of it and just remove the stuffing. But I will need to stuff the heads first and then place the safety eyes based on how the heads look like when they're stuffed. But for now, I'm going to worry about the eyes at a later date and just focus on getting more of the body done. Tomorrow I am going to be out most of the day. I agreed to go out with a friend tomorrow and just hang out. And I'm glad that I said yes, because when he had originally texted me, I was in the middle of a crash out. And I'm glad I didn't allow my emotions to get the best of me, because I think a day to just have fun and just be with a friend will help, and just to get out of the house a little bit. Even though, I'll be completely honest, there was a part of me that kind of just wanted to stay home and just work. I also recognize that this week for me was very heavy, so I think a little bit of a change of pace and just good company will help my mental state a little bit better. So glad I did not listen to Crash Out Me, and I agreed to go out with him for the day tomorrow, so that is hopefully going to be fun. So yeah, we're probably just going to hang out for a bit, talk, catch up. And I think part of... I have no idea where that thought was going at all. So I tried filming this without Kageyuki in my lap, and it just felt terribly empty, and it just felt wrong having only my torso in the shot. So I guess we're going to be sticking to this little Sabrina shtick I have going on, and at the very least, if not Kageyuki is in my lap, then one of their siblings will be in my lap. So yeah, we're going to be sticking to the Sabrina format and having some plush toy sitting here in front of you. And anyway, like I mentioned yesterday, I did go out with a friend today, and we pretty much just hung out, wandered around a few shops, grabbed lunch and some dessert. We ended up going to this Indian restaurant, and they had some really good stuffed butter chicken with garlic naan, and it was so good. I just wish we had an Indian restaurant that was much closer to where we live. But I digress. It is Saturday evening. I didn't film myself crocheting earlier. I did crochet in between my IDV matches this evening, and this is pretty much how far we've gotten with the two-headed amigurumi. And I was thinking of maybe even coloring in some of the lad's illustrations, but if we don't get to that this evening, I'm calling it a win because we did make some good progress on the two-headed amigurumi. And I reached a length of the body that I think I'm satisfied to begin decreasing. So before I start decreasing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff the heads and begin sizing up the eyes to see what size eye we're going to go with. And the great thing about these safety eyes is that they come with these colored discs. So it's got a pupil, and then the rest of it is a clear, I don't know if it's resin or just plastic, but essentially the rest of it is clear, and then you put these discs behind it, and so it looks like it's a colored eye. So what we're going to do is we are going to begin stuffing the heads so that I get a better idea of how big the head, or we're going to begin stuffing the heads so that I can get a better idea of how big the heads are when they're stuffed, and then we can begin sizing the safety eyes and begin seeing what size safety eye we're going to go with, because I do have a few different sizes here with me. And I think what we are going to do is do a pink eye on the purple side, and then a purple eye on the pink side, which I'm beginning to question if I have any purple, but if not purple, a color I think will go great with these, maybe yellow or green. But we're gonna size the safety eyes at the very least. And what I'm thinking of doing is having kind of a very similar thing like Kageyuki here, where there is one eye and then one X to kind of show a missing eye. Kage, on the other hand, it's kind of hard to see, but he does have a button eye here and a safety eye. So in the future, I might play around with putting in button eyes, but for now we're going to stick with this where there's one safety eye and then one X for the missing eye. So enough talking, I'm going to go ahead and start stuffing. I do own a 20-pound box of stuffing, but because it's a 20-pound box of stuffing and I don't want to keep having to take it out whenever I need to stuff small things, I usually get a portion out of the 20-pound box, and then I stuff it in a container or box like this. So right now I have this cinnamon roll box that I got from Miniso. So this is my stuffing box right now. It's not a lot in here, but I'm hoping it's going to at least be good enough to get one of the heads stuffed, and then we can begin sizing the eye. Because at the very least, I just need one head to act as a reference point. Then I can decide where to put the other eye on the other head. So I'm gonna go ahead and begin stuffing one head at the very least. And the fun thing about this is you can open it from the top. So it does have the clasp to open it from the top, but it's also got releases on both sides actually. And pretty much just release it and then you have... So I really love these boxes from Miniso, and one of the things you'll learn very quickly about me is that I'm a slave to this fuck-ass dog. So, yeah, I have a thing for cinnamon roll that is genuinely scary sometimes. But anyway, and which is surprising that I didn't use cinnamon roll as the face of this channel, given how obsessed I am with him. But we got Kageyuki instead. It's almost 1 a.m. and I'm going to have to call it a night because I've reached my mental limit, and I reached my mental limit an hour ago, but now it's getting to the point that I acknowledge that yes, I need sleep. But my questionable habits aside, Bear has amigurumi, two-headed amigurumi, has made some pretty good progress. This is where we're at right now. I'm still working on the decrease rows for the body. but I'm estimating another 10 or 11 more rows to go before the body closes off. Both heads are stuffed and have their eyes in already. I know this looks weird, but trust the process. Once the details begin to fall into place, I'm hoping this will look cuter. Right now I'm also debating between embroidering the I can't even speak, proof I need to go to bed. But right now I'm debating between embroidering the nose and mouth or crocheting a small little snout to go here. Ultimately, for the eyes, I did decide to put them between the 12th and the 13th row, and then I'm going to keep a distance of 8 stitches apart for the eyes to be apart from each other. And right now the other debate is whether or not I'm going to embroider the X for the missing eye or top stitch them. So I'm thinking top stitch will lead to a much more interesting texture. Embroidering would just be easier, and it would become a question of, am I going to embroider it in velvet yarn or acrylic? But I also want to experiment with top stitching, because sometimes top stitching, I really like what top stitching does. But anyway, this is the bear so far, and before I make any more incoherent sentences and miss any more counts, I'm going to go to bed, and I'll see you guys in the morning. I have some good news, and maybe not the best news, but I have good news. I don't really talk about my gaming all too much, but like I mentioned last vlog, I play Identity V, and right now Identity V is in the middle of gearing up towards their COA, or their Call of the Abyss, and this is their major global tournament during the year, which is pretty much all the teams from different regions come and compete for a prize, and with every COA comes a set of themed essences that come with their own stories. And this year's set of essences are probably some of my favorite designs, and this year's essence also has the most characters that I play in one essence. So right now, as I stand, I ended up caving and using my inspirations to pull for this essence. And so far, I've got all the 4 A tiers. So I have Edgar, I think her name is Evelyn, but Fair Lady, Richard, and Florian. The only one I'm missing right now is Joseph, and part of the reason why I decided to pull for this is because Joseph was my first Hunter main, and he still holds a very dear place in my heart. I haven't played Hunter in a hot minute, so I lost a lot of the skills I developed from when I played Joseph practically every day. But I haven't played Hunter, I've mainly been playing Survivor lately, so I've lost a lot of those skills, but Joseph is still one of my favorite characters, and I try to collect his skins where I can. And I told myself I wouldn't do this year, but because Koa's essences always return yearly, so I told myself at the beginning that I could always just save up for next year and make sure I had enough inspirations to go ahead and pull for him next year. But I ended up caving because I really love this skin for him, and I just recall how much I mourned not pulling for Necromancer, and I love Necromancer skin, and I still cry over that skin almost every single day. But yeah, I decided ultimately that I am going to pull for this essence, and if I need to spend, I will spend, and I kind of set a condition for myself that if I didn't spend on the Lad's Anniversary banner, I would allow myself to spend on the IDV Koa essences. So I did not spend on the Lad's Anniversary banner and still managed to get Silas, Raphael, and Caleb, which were my top 3 priorities for that banner. So now I'm going to give myself the grace and allow myself to spend for the essences, because I usually put a hard rule on myself that I will not spend on essences. But good news is, I do have pretty much close to all of the items for this essence. The only one that's missing is Joseph. So all 4 A tiers are home. So 3 of my 4 boys are home. And I have another 60 pulls before I'm guaranteed another A tier, and then another 100 or 130 or so pulls until I'm guaranteed the S tier, which would be Joseph. I'm not going to count that I'll get Joseph within 60 pulls. I just feel like that's too good to be true. I'm just kind of banking on I will need to go up to the guaranteed S tier. in order to get them. So what I'm thinking of doing is grinding as much of the in-game currency as possible to just reduce the cost or how much I will need to spend in order to get him. So that is the plan so far. I do have some echoes saved up, but the echoes that I have right now, I'm reserving them for when Itaqua's and Mercenaries Chinese New Year skins come out. So I'm saving the echoes for those two, and then the echoes that I'll put into my account until May are going to go pretty much to the essence pulls. So I'm going to try my best to hold off until May and just continue building up in-game currency before I start pulling for Joseph again. So he will come home. Joseph will come home because I absolutely love biblically accurate Joseph. Kawa 9 is pretty much a reminder to myself of this is why I can't quit my day job. I make stupid purchases like this. So, until my business can support my stupid purchases, we keep the day job. Anywho, this is my 20-pound box of stuffing, and oh right, forgot I had a bunch of stuff in here. So, my stuffing. My 20-pound box of stuffing, and she flops up whenever I open the bag. So I'm just gonna get a little bit more so that I have something to work with, just refilling my box. And I'll probably dump some extra in another container, but I'm gonna have to refill. Okay, that is a lot more than I intended, but I'm probably gonna need that for the bear, so we'll live with that amount. Okay, but just wanted to show everyone the 20-pound box of stuffing. That makes me very happy. And my smaller box of stuffing that is now overflowing. I lied. It is only a 10-pound box of stuffing, but it's still a very large box of stuffing that makes me very happy, so that part hasn't changed. But it is a 10-pound box. That aside, I'm trying to be good with myself and setting that boundary that Sunday is a rest day, so I should treat it like a rest day and do things more for leisure than for work. But I won't lie, I really have a strong urge to work on the two-headed amigurumi and just get it done because the body is so close to getting done, and like it's getting there, it's getting close to done. So I'm trying to maintain that boundary that today is supposed to be a leisure day, not a work on the lads drawings or work on the amigurumi for the market. But I cannot deny that there is a strong urge to work on it, like not even as a work thing, it's just because I want to do it. I might work on the bear for a little while. I did spend the morning laying in bed and reading, so there is that. I started reading Kiss of the Basilisk and I am enjoying it. If you like spicy books, then that one definitely just... How can I say it? If you're really into spice, like, not necessarily hardcore, but definitely a lot of spiciness going on, then it's probably a book for you. Also started Gideon the Ninth, and I'm listening to it at work, and so far I really love Gideon's sense of humor and the type of chaos she brings in. So those are the two books I've started so far, and yeah, did do a little bit of reading this morning, and right now it's a matter of figuring out what I want to do, because I do want to do a Valentine's set of nails, and if I decide to do a Valentine's set of nails, I probably should do it today because I won't get a chance throughout the week or next weekend. The only thing is I don't know what to do for them yet. I kind of want to do something kind of like Silas inspired, but I don't know yet. So yeah, I'm still trying to decide what to do for Sunday. So high likelihood it'll be my nails, but I also realize that I still need to do my Sunday journaling, so I'm gonna work on that first and then maybe work on the bear for a little while. It is now Sunday evening. I have not done my nails, so they're still boring and plain. I was debating on doing them today, but I started working with my sourdough starter and I decided let's make donuts, but didn't time anything well, so I won't be able to make donuts tonight. I'll have to wait until tomorrow. But yeah, Mainly because I was working with dough today, I decided to not do my nails, and I was kind of thinking of maybe making like press-ons that I could just put on in the middle of the week, but we'll see, because I still need to do my tarot reading for the week. And yeah, one of these days I will give myself Sunday off, because I ended up just working on the two-headed amigurumi, and I just got very engrossed in that and just wanting to get it done. And I'll show you how that came out. I'm not 100% pleased with it, but it's a start. This may cause a few nightmares, but this is where we're at right now. So, to be completely honest, part of the... On camera, it looks better. This is just going to become a thing from now on. But essentially, part of my issue with the design is, one, I feel like this entire abdominal stomach area is a little too wide, and I think when I make the next version, I'm not going to do as many increases around the neck area. I'm maybe going to do one row just to help lengthen the neck a little bit, and maybe 2 rows of increases before just going down until I get the length of the body. The other thing that I noticed is that I was struggling with the counts a lot on the purple side, so that's going to be another thing I'm going to have to be more mindful on when I work on the next version. For the most part, this did manage to stay down the center until we started doing the decreases, and then the decreases we kind of started getting this swirl and curve, and I'm pretty sure that has to do something along the lines with how I'm counting this side. But first go at the two-headed amigurumi right now, it still looks very creepy and very unsettling, but I'm mainly going to attribute that to the fact that it's only got one set of eyes, and we still haven't done the crosses for the missing eye or the snout. I'm still debating on the snout and how far I want to take this. A lot of trial and error that will definitely help when I make the next one. And I'm also thinking of making a couple of smaller ones of these just for something quick. Like I said, this was supposed to be more of a statement piece that I would sell at a higher price point, because genuinely, even as a prototype, I don't want to go anywhere below, let's say, 60, 70, mainly because of the amount of time it takes to work on this, specifically with the Bernat Velvet yarn. This takes a good long while, and it does require a little bit more work, especially when you consider the amount of color changes I'm doing just to make sure I get that split down the middle. But yeah, this is where the two-headed amigurumi is. We got the body and we got one arm, and I think I'm okay with where this ended up. I did lightly stuff it so that it could be a little bit more on the floppy side. And placement, I think I'm okay with it, but again, things are going to change in the next version, because one of the things to remember is that the original pattern, I forgot to count 2 rows on the height for the head. So the head for the next one is going to be bigger. And then the next one, I'm not going to do as many increases as I did for this one. And we'll see how the next version pans out. Like I said, my main issues with this is just how much it moved width-wise around the stomach. I don't know. I kind of want it a little bit more like Kagayuki, that it's a little bit more straight down. So I think less increases as I'm flaring out from the neck. And so we'll see what the next one looks like. I will be finishing this one off just to get a feel for the other parts of its body. And I was debating on whether or not I was going to scrap this and recycle the yarn, but I remembered this is Bernat Velvet. It's not like acrylic yarn. It does tend to fray if you put a lot of friction on it. So if anything, I will finish off the prototype, and I will be putting the prototype up for sale. The price, again, I'm not sure how much I'm going to sell it for, but once it's finished and completed, we'll see how it turns out, and we'll determine the price for this one from there. But this is what my little nightmare is looking like at the moment, and definitely a trust the process project. But for the first go, not bad. I wouldn't say it's not the worst, definitely not the best, but it definitely is giving me a better idea of what I need to be more aware of when I move into the next iteration. And I will make a couple of smaller ones of this. I still also have the larger head, so this is closer to what I wanted it to be. So you will notice that this head is a little bit larger compared to this one. So mainly because when I wrote down the pattern, I forgot to count 2 rows in this larger one. That when I made the purple head, it ended up coming out smaller, so I had to make another pink head to match the purple head. So there will be one that's a tad bit larger, but goal for the next one is less of a wide body and more of a straighter body. But yeah, this is where we're at with the 2-headed amigurumi. I'm going to pretty much stop crocheting for the evening and do my tarot reading before I go to bed, and then get some reading in before I go to bed. And one of these days, I will hold myself accountable and give myself Sunday to just relax and just leisure activities. Not to say this wasn't a leisure activity, because I did lose myself in this for a good long while. But I do want to kind of have those specific rest days where I'm not focused on trying to design. If anything, I probably should have just worked on a patterned crochet project, maybe. But one of the things that I do want to do with my days off is catch up on a lot of the anime that I haven't, that I pretty much put on back burners because I got so busy with drawing and work and crocheting that I just haven't really watched as much anime as I used to. So I know one of the things that I want to set those days off is to just catch up on series that I've been meaning to watch for a while. Like, there's a lot of good ones that my friends tell me about that I can barely keep up with the conversation because I just haven't watched a lot of what they're watching. So yeah, next Sunday will be an anime day. So I know I still need to catch up on the Rising of the Shield Hero. That was one that I really enjoyed. First season was really good. I really loved the first season. After that, second and third season were a little bit more meh, but I still enjoyed them. Before I blabber on, I'm going to call the vlog here. So thank you for joining me on yet another week of my little art small business journey. Thank you for stopping by, watching, and we'll see you all next week.